In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
It got up to like $68,000. My heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
The Internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Whoa! Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely. Let's get started.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Yes, it is I, your lovable host, Rod, back here in the bunkerized home studio behind the Freedom mic, firmly ensconced in the Freedom throne, bringing you another wonderful program lined up today. It is the beginning of a new week here in wonderful, beautiful, somewhere in beautiful central New Hampshire. The great Granite State, where the state motto is still live free or die. It is not big government or bust, and hopefully it never will be. Although with the continued influx with people from Massachusetts, New York, and California, that may change. I hope not. We're fighting the good fight. Anyway, the number here to call is 603-835-3224. Again, that's 603-835-3224. Should you wish to call with anything that is on your wonderful mind, I will endeavor to get you on so you can tell people what you're thinking, especially if it's related to me, obviously, because it's my show, right? My show, right? Anyway, I just got back, obviously, from a wonderful time down in Perry County, Pennsylvania. You know, let me tell you something. The people of Pennsylvania, man, they are on fire. The conservative people of Pennsylvania are on fire. I mean, this was, it was probably 100 or more people at this one particular event. And it was wonder that they were warm. Well, you know, this whole notion that Republicans, conservatives, are racist and bigoted. I got to tell you, I haven't been anywhere yet in front of any conservative group where I have felt out of place or uncomfortable. And you know, just so you know, many of you who may not have seen my picture yet anywhere, I'm not a white guy. I don't even look white. As a matter of fact, the best I could possibly do to not look black, I guess, is a lot of people tend to think that I'm either Cuban or Dominican. So obviously I've got a permanent dark tan, and therefore I could never pass as being white, which is kind of interesting because, you know, I speak in front of a group of a bunch of white people. And they don't, except for the notion that they understand, and well, obviously for obvious reasons, they look at me and that they don't see another white person, obviously, but for the what they end up liking about me has nothing to do with my skin color. It has everything to do with what's in my brain and in my heart. Now, see, the people that want to foist all of this wonderful, fabulistic type of crud as far as racism goes and bigotry goes is actually from the left. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't racist and bigoted people on the right. Of course there are. People are people. Of course you're going to find some racist people on the right. But the vast majority of racists in this country find a home in the Democratic Party or the Socialist Party or the Communist Party. They're not in the GOP Republican Party. Now, today is Columbus Day. You know, and we'll get to things like, you know, Obama bashed Columbus Day, so we'll just get into that. You know, something that's some crazy kooky stuff, a bunch of crazy kooky stuff going on in California. Yeah, you know, you people in California, you elected Jerry Brown again. You knew that he was a moon bat, and now he's gone full moon battery. I mean, if you thought maybe the guy was possibly going to be able to be saved and be a little bit more moderate, no, what this guy has just done. He's totally lost. Full moon battery out in California. So you're going to expect another exodus of people and business from California over the next year or so. I don't know what's going on. You know, we have this whole thing about guns, anti-gun. You know, and is going way too. Kids are getting suspended from school for wearing a T-shirt, for being a proud American. We'll get into that, what's going on of Oregon, of all places. Of course, some more Hillary email stuff. I'm not letting this go until this woman drops out and or is in jail, or at least facing charges. I mean, because this is just ridiculous. And if you're a guy and you have a man bun, you're going to want to get rid of the man bun and probably shave. By the way, just so you know, and I'll get into this story a little bit later, but beards are starting to go out of favor. Thank God. You know, I don't mind, you know, on the weekend especially, you know, you get scruff. But these unruly beards and this, you know, 5 days of scruff, it's got to go. Really. I mean, it looks, if you have your facial, if you do not keep that beard perfectly trim and close cut, you're just freaking lazy. And that says a lot about you and your work ethic, by the way. Plus, there's some news that is not good on the war front over there in the Middle East, and it's kind of frightening right now. But Today is obviously Columbus Day. And look, I'm not going to jump on the bash Columbus portion of this, but a lot of people understand, and unfortunately, the left has co-opted this again. Let me be clear on something. I know we were taught in school in 1492 Columbus sailed the ocean blue and all that kind of thing, and that he discovered the New World. No, Columbus did not discover the New World. And I'm sure some people on the right are probably thinking, uh-oh, Rod has fallen for this. No, I'm not falling for anything. I'm just looking at the factual, logical truth. First of all, what happened when he got here? He ran into Native Americans, indigenous people. Well, would you not say that they discovered it first since they were already living here? And we know, historical fact of human history that they migrated here. So, okay, maybe they didn't know that they were in a different land. Well, frankly, neither did Columbus. He thought he was in India. That's why he called them Indians. And that's why, we've called them Indians for centuries, but now they prefer to be called Native American. I think that's changing. I must not have gotten the memo, because I think we're now, because I am part Cherokee and Osage, which would make me part Native American. But I think now the term, it's kind of like, going from Negro to color to black to African American. I think the Native Americans are no longer called Native Americans. I think the left has come up with a new term or new word, indigenous people. Now, frankly, the connotation I get with the word indigenous people is like some, bush people in Africa or something. The pygmy tribes, and those are indigenous people. Really backwards, very primitive. Native Americans were not primitive at all. In fact, Native Americans had some of the most advanced civilization that this ancient civilizations that this planet had. So they weren't, deep in the African jungle, small tribe bush type of people, that ran around with spears. No, these were indigenous people. They were for their time period, for what they needed, they were well educated, they were trained, and they weren't savages at all. After my meeting with the people the good people in Perry County, I went and visited my mother. I call her my mommy. And, she likes to watch a lot of the old Westerns and stuff like that. We're talking, 40s, 50s Westerns. And it was, I was sitting there watching some, and it was amazing to me that in all of these Westerns, you have the cavalry and cowboys and Indians and that kind of thing. They always referred to Native Americans as being savages. Now, the interesting thing about that is that they were probably more civilized than the people who were conquering the land. Look, Native Americans didn't suffer many of the debilitating diseases from filth that the European man did. So again, who were the dirty savages? I mean, there were times, and these are also recorded historical facts, by the way. There were times where many Indian chiefs and peoples across the United States, they would talk about running into and having to deal with so-called Europeans. And they always complained about the stench of the European. Native Americans didn't stink. They regularly bathed themselves. They often complained and talked about the stench of the white man back then. No, I'm not being disparaging. I'm just telling you historical fact. The whole notion that indigenous people were here first, well, obviously precludes the fact that Columbus discovered. Okay, but maybe they didn't know that they were here. All right. Well, we also have historical fact that there were some other Europeans that knew where they were and were here first, long before Columbus. As a matter of fact, they have found evidence that these northern Europeans, we call them Vikings and Nordics, went so far west as Minnesota and North Dakota. They knew where they were, so obviously they discovered the New World first. And of course, there have been people that have done all kinds of other experiments and expeditions and have proven that Polynesian people could have gotten to South America by their boats. Egyptians could have been to Central America, could have made it to Central America via their boats, which might, as they say, would explain the mathematical similarities between South and Central American pyramids and the Egyptian pyramids. Well, I know there are other people who think, well, it's aliens, Rod, aliens. But there's also biblical reference for that, and the Tower of Babel and people being spread across the globe. But this whole notion that Columbus discovered America is wrong. However, this isn't what the left is fighting about. The left is not fighting about trying to accurately portray and teach history. No. That's not what they're doing. What the left is doing is attacking the very notion of the establishment of the United States and the West. We're supposed to feel bad. We today are supposed to feel bad about what happened 400 years ago, and 300 years ago, and 200 years ago. And somehow today, it's our fault what happened, 2, 3, 4, 500 years ago. It's modern man's fault today, what happened back then. We weren't even, hell, in many cases, even our great-grandparents weren't even thought of yet. But we're supposed to be responsible for everything that happened even before our great-grandparents were born. I don't understand how the left comes to that conclusion. That makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. So we're supposed to feel bad and somehow make reparations. No, well, the only way that we can actually make reparations is if we give the Indians, Native Americans, indigenous people, back the land. Well, that's not possible. As a matter of fact, whenever Native Americans do hold the government accountable for their treaties, and I'll give you an example. Upstate New York, Iroquois Nation. When the tribes of the Iroquois Nation in central New York, after they got some money because of the casino there called Turning Stone, which is now a huge operation, they started going through the legal motions of taking their land back on their reservation. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, there were people, many of them liberal, by the way, voting for Democrats and liberal state and national representatives for their area. Well, they found themselves caught in the crossfire. The Native Americans wanted the land that was taken from them, that was promised to them, and that somehow these people were able to, without their permission, buy the property and live on Native American, without just compensation to the Native Americans and to the tribe. They're on reservation land. And so then when they went to court and won to get back what was rightfully theirs, you should have heard all these wonderful liberals complaining and calling them all kinds of names and trying to do all kinds of things. But now they're telling us that, hey, white man stole everything. Well, they were trying to get back what those liberals stole from them. and they were met with vile and vast confrontation. Now, the natives eventually won, and those people were allowed to stay, those who wanted to. But now they were under a land lease. And again, they were not happy about that. Well, you know, if you're talking about giving something back that belongs to somebody else, but then again you fight it when it happens to you, well, that's typical hypocrisy. But what the left does for this anti-Columbus Day, and you know what, this whole notion that Columbus was not a hero, he was a tragic happenstance upon this wonderful land, is not something that is really seen or believed by the vast majority of Native Americans today. No, they don't consider Columbus to be a hero or a fantastic journeyer, as they call him, or explorer, as we would call him. That's not what they see. But they don't see an invader in Columbus either, because that's how the left portrays Columbus was an invader, and then he was followed by the Mayflower people. They were invaders, and all those Quakers were invaders, and that is not. Because that's not how many natives view Europeans. Because, look, a lot of Native Americans have had bad luck with our government, and that's also historically accurate, unfortunately. But most Native Americans today are American, or if they're in Canada, they're Canadian. They don't consider themselves to be separate, although they do like to be able to hold on to their own traditions and their own language, and that's why they're very protective of their reservations. And let's face it, our government constantly tries to attack the reservation system by trying to take their land or sell it without their permission, all that kind of stuff. But hey, you know, the Obama administration is just doing that this past year, doing something out west, selling off Native American land. And we're supposed to sit back and follow this whole notion that Columbus was evil. Columbus was mean and dark and cruel, and that he shouldn't be celebrated. I mean, I don't. That's some of the most ridiculous liberal drivel I've heard yet so far. That's what it is. It's just drivel. I mean, it's one of those things. I don't know. Columbus is he's not a hero. He's an invader. Here. Let me wipe that spittle off the side of your chin. Now go back and sit in the corner, Mr. Liberal. What I would like to see in this country, in our educational system, and in the general public, what I would like to see is fairly simple and easy. It isn't, well, I guess maybe to the left it would be radical, but it's not really a radical thought as far as education is concerned. It's not really a radical thought as far as society should be concerned. The thought is, instead of teaching ideology, which oftentimes is wrong, why not just embrace and teach the truth? Teach the historical facts. Just teach the damn truth. If it's bad history that we're teaching, then that's an educational teaching moment. So we do not recreate or revisit that type of thing in the future. But to try to rewrite history, well, that's just going to ensure that the actual facts are hidden and that people are going to be doomed to repeat that awful history. Teach the facts. Doesn't matter how unpleasant those facts are. I agree. Some historical facts about this country are very unpleasant for us. But they need to be taught. And it needs to be done without an ideology or an ideological bent. There's no need for it. Just tell the truth. Teach the truth. I mean, that's why I'm here. I'm just here to tell and teach the truth. That's why you're ecclesiastites, because you want to know the truth. And unfortunately, by me speaking the truth, I've been labeled an outsider, an Uncle Tom, a sellout, a Republican driphead, and all kinds of names. And all I'm doing is telling. And by me telling the truth and being factual and logical is nothing more than being a conservative, then I guess I'm guilty, because that's all that really counts. Teach the truth, or else we're going to repeat a lie.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Did you know that 1 in 4 people in America lives with a mental illness? Do you have the communication skills to help out if one is in a crisis? What if it's your best friend? Maybe your son or daughter? Well, crisis intervention isn't new. The book Crisis Intervention 101 is. It's easy to read, include links to 2 videos, and it's under $10. Get your copy of Crisis Intervention 101 today on Amazon.com, because we all need help in a crisis.
Start training for a new career in as little as 18 days. National EMS Institute's innovative boot camp program will train you for a new career. Learn to respond to emergency situations and become a certified EMT in just 18 days. National EMS Institute guarantees 100% job placement. Visit www.nationaleMSinstitute.com today to learn more about our 18-day boot camp. Or call us at 1-800-497-6732. NationalEMSinstitute.com.
Stuck in a boring, low-paid job? By 2017, there will be a shortage of 2 million cybersecurity jobs worldwide. If you have a technical background but don't have a computer certification, you are being drastically underpaid. In months, you could be qualified for a new job in information technology, making real money with real job security. A new career is just a few clicks away at thecodeoflearning.com.
toll-free 603-835-3224 should you wish to weigh in on what I am talking about this fantastic. The weather today was absolutely marvelous. There is a problem, though, here in New England. Now, when I was in Pennsylvania and upstate New York, the leaves had turned more, which is south of here, than it has up here in northern parts of New York and in New England. Now, from what I am told and understand, the peak viewing time for much of New England, especially northern New England, is about 5 days behind normal schedule. Now, I don't know how they figure it's 5 days exactly, but that is what I hear. It's about, and I can honestly say that it to me it seems like the turning of the leaves is a little bit later this year because it's September was rather warm. It's almost as if there is climate change, not man-made, by the way, but it's almost as if there is a seasonal shift. Now, I don't know if this is accurate or not. I'm not a meteorologist. I'm not a climatologist. But anecdotally speaking, it just seems like there's been a shift in the seasons, at least for summer and fall. It seems like summer is supposed to be, basically June, July, and August. But around here in New England, it seems as if that is shifting more to be July, August, and September. Now, I don't know if that's accurate or not. It's just an observation that I have made that seems to be coming true, at least based on the past 4 or 5 seasons. It seems like summer has shifted a little bit, which is, maybe it hasn't shifted at all. Maybe it's just the way that we're recording time because, obviously time is a construct of man, and the universe doesn't know of time, doesn't care of time, so nothing is a perfect 24-hour cycle. Perfect 365-day year cycle. It's not that perfect. So maybe our measurement of time has been rather because we've had shifts and changes in our calendars over the centuries, numerous times, trying to keep up with and stay accurate and current with the orbital season and rotation of the planet in our galaxy, our solar system. And I don't think we like to think that we've got it down. I don't think we actually have. I think there are some nuances that we're missing, that we're not taking into account, which is possible. Highly possible. I mean, it could be that that time differential, whatever we have, is catching up with us, and we're going to have to make some corrections at some point in the calendar system in the future. There was a. In 2016, we do have I think 2016 is a leap year. Now, for those of you in Rush Limbaugh's Ria Linda, a leap year, I don't know why we call it a leap year, because we're not leaping anything. We're causing the year to be longer. So if anything, it's a stagnant year. But we add a day in February. So instead of February having 28 days, it has 29 days. And I think 2016 is going to be a so-called leap year where February will have an extra day. So instead of 365 days, the year will have 366. And that's supposed to make up for the fact that we drop like a quarter of a day based on our 24-hour time clock every year. So we have to make up that day. But again, that's not a perfect quarter day. It's not a perfect, because there's 24 hours in a day. So it's not a perfect 6 hours that we lose every year. It's like 5 hours and some minutes. So at some point in the future, I think it's around the year 2100, we're actually going to have to forego a leap year in order to adjust our calendar to the Earth's rotation and trip around the sun. So again, even when we try to make adjustments for our imperfect time system, we're actually creating other problems with our time system that has to be accounted for and adjusted at some point. So I'm not one of those time masters or experts, but just one of those things that I think about every once in a while. Yeah, I think about some really odd stuff on occasion. I know, but that's what makes me an interesting character, because I'm not stagnant in my thought. Yeah, I think about a lot of stuff. I have interests, well, there are two, if you are into the alternative spiritualness, there are people that believe, well, obviously if many of us are reincarnated, we've come back, we've lived before, past life types of thing. And some of us have lived multiple times before, and so those people are termed as having an old soul. And some people either have never been reincarnated, this is their first go-around, or they've only been reincarnated once or twice. They've only lived once or twice before. Those are called new or young souls. Now, there are two schools of thought. That a young soul, because they're a young soul, they have interest in everything because they haven't lived multiple times to experience all kinds of stuff. So everything is out there and open to them. And the other school of thought is that those people who have a vast knowledge or knowledge base or have an interest in a lot of different things is because they have experienced those things in a past life. And so therefore, that is why a person like myself, I guess, depending on what school of thought, I guess I'm an ancient soul or I am a new soul. I had somebody I worked with a person, she was a granola. She was into shamanism and Native Americanism and nature, religion, that kind of stuff. And she worked in the office that I worked in. And she gave me a reading. And she looked at me and said, wow. I'm like, what? What wow? Is that a good wow or a bad wow? She goes, and she's looking me directly in my eyes and looking down at my hands and feeling my aura. She looked at me and said, you are one of the most ancient souls I have ever come across. Now, again, I don't know if that was good or bad. Oh, she's saying that I'm an old fuddy-duddy or something? I don't know. She's, but she says, no. That's good. You have experience. If you could only tap into all of your previous lives, if you could remember all your previous lives, you would be so wise and intelligent. You would be a genius. Now, of course, I'm thinking, well, wait, I would be a genius. So what does she think? I'm an idiot right now? But yeah, so I've had her, but then I had the stupid fortune tellers at the fairs and stuff that you go to. Read your fortune. And I've had this one huckster. She says, "Oh well, geez, you're such a new soul. You have so much to experience. You're on a new journey." So I've been told by one person who's into all this stuff that I'm an ancient soul, one of the oldest that she's ever met. And to this carnival huckster, I'm a newbie. I've never lived before. So I don't know who to believe on that one. If I'm going to go that direction, if I'm going to get into that type of religious aspect, I wouldn't know who to believe. So I'm already confused. Well, geez, either I'm extremely old or I'm a baby. But maybe that's why it's a good thing that I am born, raised, and living here in America. I get to freely experience a lot of stuff that many people around the world just do not have the freedom or the ability to be able, because of their governance, do not have the ability to experience. And I have been real lucky to be one of the few on this planet to experience being an American. And that's something in and of itself to be proud of, by the way. I mean, look, it's called American exceptionalism, not American superiority. People need to understand that. Just because we think that America and Americans are exceptional does not mean that we think en masse that we're superior to everybody else on the planet. That is not the same thing. We're exceptional because of our way of life and what we're capable and able and have been able to do versus the rest of the world. That makes us extremely exceptional. Obama out there doesn't like the idea that we are exceptional, and he's jumping into this whole realm of people denigrating America on Columbus Day. And, you know, Obama said a European discovery of New World introduced disease, devastation, and violence. Now, I got to tell you something. Yeah, with the advent of immigrants from Europe coming here, there were diseases that the native peoples did not see before, and so their bodies could not fight them off. Like chicken pox and measles and things like that. It was often devastating to native populations. Now, understand that the Europeans knew nothing about biological warfare back then. So it's not something that they did on purpose. You know, they didn't infect themselves before they came here and then decided to, sneeze and cough on every Native American and cause them to get these horrible diseases that most Europeans, got in their childhood and often lived through, which ended up killing many of the adults here in the New World when they came across those things. So the disease, okay, it was new diseases to them. I get that part, but that's true of any time. I mean, from Europeans going to the Orient, they traded diseases that people didn't understand or realize were there on both sides. Asian people died from European diseases, and Europeans died from some Asian diseases as they crossed. It just the way the world worked. Plain and simple. Nobody was doing biological warfare. As far as devastation and violence, let me tell you something. This land that we call the New World was not all kumbaya, peace, love, and understanding. I mean, there were some major, long-standing, long-going wars between the native peoples here. And understand that Native Americans, they could be and were extremely brutal. So, no, the European man didn't introduce devastation and violence to the New World. It was already here. What the Europeans did was introduce something new called a firearm that made it more efficient for the native peoples to continue their acts of devastation and violence against each other as well as the white man. So this whole notion that what they're trying to say is that, oh yeah, the Europeans came here and this was a land and world of peace and kumbaya and everybody got along and, and skip to my loo, my darling, all that kind of, is a crock. I mean, especially if you go down into South America and you look at some of those civilizations, they were absolutely brutal. In fact, if they were modern today, we would say that they committed war crimes because they were so devastatingly brutal. Unbelievably brutal. Even by today's standards, those people were, I'm not disparaging them at all, but I'm telling you the facts. You want to talk about, the people like the Incas and the Aztecs and live sacrifice and plunging knives into sacrificial lambs, if you will, chest and pulling out their heart while it's still beating, while the person has, like 5 seconds to see his own heart beating outside of his chest. That's brutal. We want to say that Muslims are brutal by beheading people. Well, that's just as brutal. So that's not peace, love, and understanding there. It really isn't. So we have to bring this into perspective. This president is just a jackass. Yeah, I said it. He's a total and complete anti-American jackass. No president should ever run around saying, oh yeah, well, Columbus introduced, he introduced the New World to disease, devastation, and violence. As if this was some sort of tropical paradise. Far from it. Let's be factual about this. Me being part Cherokee, Cherokee Nation, they were pretty brutal with their enemies too. They were not all kumbaya either. I'm just being factual. I'm not being, not deriding anyone, past or present. It's just the way it was. Again, teaching the facts. We may not like what, the history that we have, but it is still our history. And we have to teach it truthfully and factually. I have no ideological bent to this. It is just the facts. I find it amazing that we do teach how brutal, civilizations like the Incas and the Aztecs were. And yet we still have this notion that Europeans introduced devastation and violence to the New World. I don't understand the thought process behind it. It's illogical, I know, but I just don't understand the thought process behind it. I can't wrap my logical brain around that. Why would you even? I don't know. I don't have an answer for you on that one, other than the fact that these people for whatever reason, they have this whole hatred for the United States and for what we actually stand for. Yeah. Well, that's what President Obama said from the White House on Friday. Now, this is also what he said. Though these early travels expanded the realm of European exploration to many, they also marked a time that forever changed the world for the indigenous peoples of North America. Obama then wrote, previously unseen disease, devastation, and violence were introduced to their life. What unseen? Previously unseen? I don't know. Maybe because Europeans just shot you. They didn't rip your heart out of your chest. So I guess that was a different kind of violence. And might I add, this whole notion of scalps, Native Americans did that too. They scalped innocent European settlers. Well, let's also, be factual about that. They took people's, so this introduction of It just bothers me to no end that people would try to rewrite history in such a fashion to make Europeans, white people actually, look like the devil incarnate. Well, everybody else is just innocent, Pollyanna type of stuff. And that's not the case. History just does not bear that out. Plain and simple. Did you hear what Obama said about himself? You probably did. Obama claims that if I could run, I'd win a third term easily. I'd win. Yes, I'd win if I ran for president again, but I'm not running. Well, two things wrong with that, Mr. President. I know your ego prevents you from actually believing the truth. But no, you're not running simply Well, for two reasons. One, because the Constitution forbids it. You can't run. And you haven't figured out a way to executive order yourself past the Constitution in order to run for a term. So you can't do it. But the bigger thing is, even if you could do it, FDR, you wouldn't win a third term. I'm not even sure you'd make it through your primary. Well, considering who the Democrats are throwing up for their primary, for their Democratic primary, yeah, he might just get the nomination again. Seriously. Look who they have. You want to talk about a shallow... let's go down the list. Yeah, obviously, you've got, Bernie Sanders, the Democratic Socialist. He admits, hey, I'm a Democratic Socialist. He says it. People are out there, no, he's not he's not a socialist. No, Bernie Sanders says he's a socialist. So their bench consists of Webb, Sanders, Clinton, O'Malley, and Chafee. And possibly Biden. Now, I find it interesting that there's only 5 people in the race for the Democratic nomination. And even the lamestream media is only paying attention to 2 of them. Webb, O'Malley, and Chafee, they're like, the 0 and 1%ers on the Republican side. And the Republicans have we still got 14, 15 candidates in the race. So we got a lot of people. But yet they can only garner 2 people. And one is falling in the polls faster than the lead anchor in a saltless sea. And she's the heir apparent, and she's doing so bad that, that they're thinking, well, maybe we need to bring out Joe. Bring Joe out. Oh, for goodness sakes. Good God. Joe, sit down, man. So you have Sanders and Clinton, and I think in certain polls in that order, Sanders and Clinton, and in certain other polls it's still Clinton and Sanders. But I think the rest is it runs O'Malley, then Webb, then Chafee, and I guess Webb and Chafee, what do they got, like 2% each, and they sort of switch off who's in last place. But it is pretty bad when the Democratic Party has 5 people in the race over there. Their heir apparent is doing so bad, it's imploding by the day. And that this Sanders guy is coming on so strong that they can't. The DNC just cannot see Sanders as being their nominee, and yet they cannot trust or go to one of the other 3 to try to build them up. They have to bring in somebody from the outside. Yeah, we're going to bring in the relief pitcher, Joe Biden. And they go to Joe Biden for their relief. If the Republicans cannot walk away with this election, this country's done. We're done. I'm telling you, think about it. You have got the most unpopular Democrats in Congress that Congress has ever seen right now, in the form of Pelosi and Reid and a few others. You have got, I know the Republicans do such a wonderful job of self-destruction themselves, but and you got this guy in the White House who's just totally and completely destroyed the Democratic Party. And the Democrats are on the ropes. I mean, it's as if they're drowning in 3 inches of water. And they can't figure out how to stand up to save themselves. And yet, there is a good possibility that the Republicans could lose control of the Senate. And there's a good possibility that we don't win the White House. And I'm telling you, if we do not walk away with the election of 2016, it's over. It is over. It is going to be generations before we're able to get this country back. Plain and simple. I know that we have a major enemy of freedom and liberty in the Constitution. That's called the lamestream media. I fully understand that, and they still have power and influence. But I'm telling you, the way this country is right now, with the sentiment of the people right now, if the Republicans can't get their act together, because this is their election to lose, if they lose it, it's over. I mean, again, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. That's the truth, folks. But I have high hopes that we could really do some great things come November of 2016. I still have a lot of hope. Hope you do too.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
The following letters were written by our troops.
My dear fellow Americans, I truly appreciate your support. I was starting to wonder if people had forgotten about us over here, but then one of my buddies showed me this website, and now as tears are streaming down my face, I can see for sure that you haven't. Private Emily B., U.S. Army.
It's so heartwarming to see the American people not letting the men and women of the armed forces be forgotten. Your letters make a group of grown men, battle-hardened and gruff, act like a bunch of kids around a Christmas tree. Thanks. Staff Sergeant Matthew H., U.S. Army.
Your support may be the most important thing our troops can carry with them. But don't take our word for it. Take theirs. To show your support, visit americasupportsyou.mil. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Defense and the Ad Council.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals, because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
The leader in talk radio on the Internet, right here on K98Talk.com.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-513-6154. That's 1-800-513-6154. Again, 1-800-513-6154. Call now.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
To get up to like $68,000. My heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
The Internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely. Let's get started again.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Cigar. Welcome back to this wonderful program that I have the pleasure of heading up. It is I, your lovable host, Rod, coming to you live. By the way, you know, I am a lovable guy. I'm not big, so I'm not, I'm not like a teddy bear or anything, but I'm still a lovable, cuddly kind of guy. And people, you got to be able to cuddle up and I love cuddling up with freedom myself. I don't know about you, but I like to cuddle, and I cuddle up with freedom as often as I can. That's right. I'm still coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is still live free or die. It is not big government or bust. You can call the show this evening while we are live at toll-free 603-835-3224. That is 603-835-3224 as we continue on hour number 2 here on the fastest 2 hours of Internet Talk Radio, right here on powered by Zinc Media. And I just want to give a shout-out to all the networks that we're on, that this program is on, all the stations. And thank all of them again for having the program on. And you guys are going to have to, go over to rodeccles.net and take a look at these stations. We're actually adding a few more stations over the course of this month. But right now, you can listen to us over there on Hamilton Radio, K98 Talk, Pundit Press, SHR Media, Freedom in America Radio, Leading Edge Radio, Nightside Radio, Restoring America, Together Radio, Roar, Vigilant Liberty Radio. Plus, you can get it here on the Rod Eccles Show Spreaker account. You can get some back episodes going all the way back to March of 2009 over on Blog Talk Radio under the Rod Eccles Show. And plus other networks, I'm sorry if I missed you, and new networks that'll be coming online as continue. Plus, don't forget, if you are in the Manchester, New Hampshire area, or even if you're not, you can listen to was it American Family Radio 90.7 on your FM dial every Tuesday between the hours of 4 and 6 p.m. Yes, yours truly is part of the Right Group, RIGHT group. And you can check out the Right Group on Facebook. The website is being constructed still as we speak. It takes longer than you would think to build a website, but it does. Takes a while. But it's the Right Group on Facebook. The Right Group. That's RIGHT group over there. As well as you're probably, if you haven't already, you're going to want to follow me on places like, the Facebook fan page, Twitter, Elrod over on Twitter, ELROD. LinkedIn, of course, Google Circles, Google Plus. And I even have a Pinterest page. It's a vast page, by the way, of original stuff as well as lots of repinned stuff. It's great stuff over there. All this, and you can hook up to all the social media by going to rodeccles.net as well. But the Twitter following, it's kind of exploding. I've got well over 10,000 followers right now over there on Twitter, and it's growing. And much of it is organic. People are people are just following me, which is good. I like that. So because they get a lot of good, a lot of good stuff that I gather from different places, and some of it is just exclusive to Twitter. So you'll definitely not want to miss that by following me over on Twitter. Gun-free. Gun-free. Well, we just had this thing out in Oregon and down in Texas, and we've had these things happen at other college campuses, college campi, over the past few years, and because our colleges, our campuses are gun-free zones, and we know for a fact that more than 90% of all mass shootings happen within a gun-free zone. In other words, they happen within the realm of a soft target area. And we have out in Oregon right now, we have this student, this 8th grader by the name of Alan Holmes, 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 who was recently suspended from school for wearing a T-shirt. Now, the T-shirt basically depicted the soldier's cross. You know what a soldier's cross is. For those of you in Rush Limbaugh's Ria Linda, it is a soldier's cross is a pair of combat boots with the soldier's AK in one of the boots, standing straight up with the soldier's helmet on top of that AK, that rifle. And they call it the soldier's cross. Now, there's a picture on his T-shirt of the Soldier's Cross with, in the background, is the American flag. And written over all of that are the words, "Standing for those who stood for us." And he was suspended for wearing that T-shirt. It's not an offensive shirt. It's just a gray T-shirt with shades of gray for the depiction, for the graphic. And from what I gather, and this is from therightscoop.com, now it says that when you think about T-shirts that promote gun violence, you probably think about shirts with gang signs or just gangbanger shirts in general, or just any T-shirt that shows someone using a gun to harm someone in any way. What you probably wouldn't think of is a shirt showing support for the military with a soldier's cross on it. But that shirt with the soldier's cross, with the words, "Standing for those who stood for us," is exactly what got 8th grade student Alan Holmes suspended from a public Oregon middle school. Now, he's wearing the shirt in large part to his older brother who joined the Marines when he was just 19 and wound up serving in Iraq. And so the kid, 8th grader, is, showing support for his hero big brother. His big brother comes home alive and safe and well from a tour in Iraq. And he figures, well, I can wear this T-shirt that shows my support for my brother and all the military armed forces. And he gets suspended for it. Now, he wore it at the Dexter McCarthy Middle School last Wednesday. But he says the principal spotted the shirt and gave him an ultimatum. Switch shirts or face an in-school suspension. Good for Allen because he didn't back down. He says, the principal, I asked him, is this considered a suspension? He says, yes, I'll see you tomorrow, and then left. Allen still can't understand why the image caused so much fuss. Well, Allen, here's a quick lesson for you. Because your principal is a liberal idiot. That's all you need to know. Your principal is like Obama. He's a liberal jackass. That's all you need to know. Because that's all there is to it. These jackasses have a total disdain for anything that shows American pride and support for America. I mean, look, we got schools that are banning, American Pride Days. We've got schools banning kids from wearing a T-shirt or shirt or anything that depicts the American flag. You got schools that want to teach as part of their curriculum, foreign studies and Islam and all kinds of stuff. But if it comes to Judaism or Christianity or Americanism in an American public school, oh no, that's out the window, honey, because you might offend somebody. Well, frankly, the only people that matter that you're offending, obviously, are the school administrators, because the other students who are not American, who are only there because they are guests of this country, don't count. Let me repeat. If you are going to an American public school being paid for by American taxpayer dollars and you are not a citizen, you are a guest of this country and that school system. You don't count. Plain and simple. Oh, right, that's just so wrong. That's bigoted. I mean, that's anti-immigrant, No, it's not. It's pro-Americanism. It's pro-America. I'm in the United States of America. I am an American citizen. I am an American, so therefore I'm going to be pro-American. Now, if I was in France, I would say I don't count if I'm in France because I'm not French. Well, I don't understand what is so difficult to understand about that. I'm an American in America. I count. You're not an American in America. You don't count. You want to count and you're from Mexico, go back to Mexico. Because in Mexico, I don't count. But if you're Mexican and you're in Mexico, you count. I don't understand. How is that possibly being bigoted or anti-immigrant? It's not. It's just being factual. You know, you're a guest if you're a guest in somebody's country, you don't get to determine how those people who are citizens live. You don't get to. Sorry, you don't. No matter where it is, you don't get to. I can hear somebody saying, well, that isn't that what, war is all about, Rod? We're determining how other people live and all across like the Middle East and everything. No, it's not the same thing, and you know it. So this kid gets suspended, receives a suspension. It's going to go on his permanent record that he was suspended for wearing a damn T-shirt in support of his brother, who's a Marine, and for all military personnel past and present in the United States, where you have First Amendment rights, freedom of speech, freedom of expression, unless you're in a public school, evidently. You can't make this stuff up, folks. You can't make this stuff up. And you can't make this up either. California Governor Jerry Brown signs a new law. Now, he signs a new law. Now, I already, thought California had a similar law, gun-free zones, but he's signing a new law that bans guns at schools. And he does this less than 2 weeks after multiple major shootings at gun-free zone schools across the country. Governor Jerry Brown has signed a bill banning concealed weapons from California schools and universities, a measure that drew renewed attention after a recent massacre at an Oregon community college, as well as colleges in Texas and I do believe Arizona. Now, SB 707 by Democratic Senator Lois Walk, WLK of Davis, will prohibit people with concealed weapons permits from carrying firearms on school and college campuses. People who have concealed carry permits would be allowed to carry firearms within 1,000 feet of a public or private K-12, but not on the grounds. Well, so I guess they can walk the perimeter as long as they're 1,000 feet away from the property. The sheer stupidity of this, folks, is the ignorance. It's not ignorance. It's just plain out and out stupidity. You see, if it were ignorance, we could educate them with the facts. See, ignorance means you just don't know something. Stupidity means that you know something and you still go against it anyway. Now, this is what stupidity is. Stupidity is that everybody understands, whether they fully understand the science behind it or not is irrelevant, but everybody understands gravity. And everybody understands that if you are on top of a 40-story building and you decide that you're going to walk off the roof and try to fly, everybody knows that you're going to fall to your death. But if you do it anyway, expecting that you're going to be able to fly. Now, see, that's just stupid. And this is the same thing. These people know that good law-abiding citizens with guns save lives. As a matter of fact, here's a story right here from MadWorldNews.com. Gun-free zone Waffle House targeted by armed thug. Gun-free Waffle House targeted by armed thug. A Waffle House crew was going through their normal Saturday morning routine in North Charleston, South Carolina, when they received the scare of a lifetime. 19-year-old Joshua Jermaine Davis entered the restaurant shortly after 5 a.m., and he was not looking for hash browns. Davis, who was armed, attempted to rob the eatery. But before he could get any further, an unidentified man stopped him right in his tracks. The legal pistol-packing patron shot Davis and thwarted the robbery in progress. Now, the Waffle House manager on duty said that no one was injured in the shooting except Davis, and the restaurant manager also said that Davis did not steal anything, and the restaurant saw only minor damage from broken glass. Davis, however, was not as lucky. He was rushed to medical university, but later died of his wounds. But hey, Waffle House is a gun-free zone, and you better believe that he chose Waffle House because he thought it was a soft target. Now, I'm surprised that this guy, this hero, isn't being brought up on charges from Waffle House for packing a pistol in a gun-free zone. Well, look, there's still time. There's nothing saying that this gentleman, this hero, won't be, sued by Waffle House or somebody. Because, I've got PSD now because this guy shot a criminal. Oh, I can't live my life. That would be a liberal. I'm telling you, don't doubt me. That would be a liberal. That they would attack the hero for being the hero and for saving not only who knows what he could have done to the patrons and the employees of that Waffle House. But but look, this is exactly what these kind of thugs, these kind of criminals look for. They look for soft targets. Because look, they don't want to get shot. They don't want to be shot at. Most of the criminals that have been going on these mass shootings, the police don't really get to shoot them dead. They kill themselves because they don't want to face other guns. I mean, really, think about this. Why would if you're going to go and kill a bunch of people, why would you then decide, well, geez, I'm just going to kill myself now because now there are people with guns? It makes no sense that you would want to perpetuate this soft target zone all over the country. The United States, the entire country, should be a hard target zone. I mean, law-abiding citizens should be able to freely pack and carry wherever the hell they want to go. Okay, well, maybe not an airline, airplane. I can see where a stray bullet up 30,000 feet would be rather devastating. But, here on the ground, I mean, they're not, somebody with a firearm is not supposed to be able to get through the TSA anyway, so everybody should be gun-free on that. But here on the ground, we don't. Are we going to have to start going through metal detectors at every place we go, from the mall to Waffle House? before we can get in? This whole notion that Governor Brown, the stupid jackass that he is, would even do something like this so soon after a major massacre that happened in a state just on his northern border. Look, now all he's doing is inviting all the crackpots and murderous thugs to come down or come over to California and start taking shots at soft targets on school campuses all over the state. Because, hey, nobody's going to be allowed to have a gun, right? You know what? Maybe you should just do like this wonderful guy over at the Waffle. And the Waffle House is known for being a gun-free zone. In fact, they've even tried to not serve police officers from time to time. So maybe people should just, they can legally carry. Maybe people should just pack in their book bag. And when somebody comes shooting, they can fire back.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Did you know that 1 in 4 people in America lives with a mental illness? Do you have the communication skills to help out if one is in a crisis? What if it's your best friend? Maybe your son or daughter? While crisis intervention isn't new, the book Crisis Intervention 101 is. It's easy to read, include links to 2 videos, and it's under $10. Get your copy of Crisis Intervention 101 today on Amazon.com, because we all need help in a crisis.
Start training for a new career in as little as 18 days. National EMS Institute's innovative boot camp program will train you for a new career. Learn to respond to emergency situations and become a certified EMT in just 18 days. National EMS Institute guarantees 100% job placement. Visit www.nationaleMSinstitute.com today to learn more about our 18-day boot camp. Or call us at 1-800-497-6732. NationalEMSinstitute.com.
Stuck in a boring, low-paid job? By 2017, there will be a shortage of 2 million cybersecurity jobs worldwide. If you have a technical background but don't have a computer certification, you're being drastically underpaid. In months, you could be qualified for a new job in information technology, making real money with real job security. A new career is just a few clicks away at thecodeoflearning.com.
listening to The Rod Eccles Show.
Something else besides guns are being banned across the fruited plain from our public institutions that we call public schools, but really are public indoctrination centers. A Connecticut school here in New England, just south of me, bans Halloween to avoid offending people. Now, let me get this straight. We have now we have public schools that are in order to not offend people, they're going to offend the majority of people. It's no longer Christmas; it's holiday. So, no Halloween because it could offend minority of people. But the majority of people are the ones who are going to be offended. I don't. If they don't want to offend anybody, then I would assume that you just don't do anything about it. That would seem to be the thing. But the public school system in Milford, Connecticut, has banned Halloween-related events to avoid offending children who decline to celebrate Halloween. So they decline to celebrate Halloween. How is that offensive? Are we going to start trying to design our society so nobody gets offended? Well, that's one way to ensure that everybody's going to be offended. Because everybody's offended by something. I mean, let's face it. I mean, look, I know some people might think it's a minority, but just let me give you an example. For the so-called gay community, there are gay people, mostly gay men, maybe not so much gay women, but gay men, who are offended by the fact that now they have gay marriage. So are we now going to get rid of gay marriage because some gay men are offended by it? Why not? By this logic. Now, according to the Connecticut Post, this is on thelibertarianrepublic.com, a letter was sent home to parents last week letting them know that the school district's annual Halloween parades are being called off due to numerous incidents of children being excluded from activities due to religion, culture, beliefs, etc. So what? Are you gonna? Hey, are you? Well, I was gonna say, are you gonna stop having sex education because some people might be offended that you're teaching that in school? But I think it's probably pretty mandatory now, isn't it? So whether you're offended or not, it is probably going to have to go through, semester or whatever, or class of sex education where they're going to be taught all kinds of grotesque, ridiculous things. Look, you have to understand, I'm not even a Halloween fanatic or fan. I'm not. But it does not, being a Christian, I do have a problem with Halloween, celebrating evil and death and destruction and stuff like that. I do have a problem with it. But if somebody wants to, I even go to Halloween parties. Yeah, and I dress up in costumes, but I don't dress. When I was a kid, and a teenager, I dressed up in probably some scary stuff. But now, if I dress up, it's benign stuff. I think one year I went as beatnik. That's scary too, being a beatnik. No, I don't go as these evil characters because I don't celebrate evil. But I'm not offended if somebody else decided to wear, the costume of the Candyman or something. If people are just too easily offended look, if somebody gets offended by something I say or do, that's not my problem. Just as if I'm offended by something that somebody says or does, it's not their problem. I'm the one that's offended, so I'm the one that has to deal with it. So if these people do not want their kids to participate in a Halloween parade or festival or what have you, they have the right to opt out. What's so offensive about that? I mean, look, we've had school districts across this country that have tried to teach Sharia law in Islam and the Quran and stuff like that, but that was okay. That if you offend, Christian and Jewish parents and Hindu parents and other religious parents and atheists, hey, you're not supposed to at all, offend atheists at all with religion. But hey, we can do that. That offends people. Oh, but I forgot that offends the majority of people, so that's okay. But when you have this minority of people that get offended, well, everybody's got to kowtow and bow down, and it's Halloween, for crying out loud. What's next? I mean, we're already at this point where communities are scheduling Halloween, the trick or treating. I mean, it's even so bad that sometimes they don't even schedule the trick or treating on Halloween Day. And some communities say, well, you just can't go door to door, but you can go to the mall or downtown and go to all the different businesses. What is this? Are we trying to be so inclusive that we're going to start excluding the vast majority of people? Well, how does that make anything inclusive? It doesn't. I mean, this is just insanity. This has gotten to the point of it has gotten to the point where every single day it's some liberal attack on the entire country, on the vast majority of people in the country, because they think that they're so more in touch with their feelings and that they're so more inclusive when they're not. They're the most exclusive people I have ever met. Liberals are. Because if you don't for some reason think exactly the way they think, then they're going to blast you, lambaste you, decry you, try to cut you out of everything, probably try to sue you. They're the most uninclusive bunch of people I have ever met in my entire life. They're the most bigoted, racist, homophobic people I have ever met. And hands down, I have never met a conservative person, somebody who says that they are conservative, who are as bad as a liberal. Which is why I could never, ever, ever be a liberal. Because y'all on the left, you're just shy of being evil. Really, you really are. I'm calling you out. This is just, you want to attack every type of tradition because you want to say, well, this tradition is excluding certain people. Well, all right. So we're going to try to include everybody by excluding everybody. That makes a hell of a lot of sense. And then you're going to say stupid stuff like this jackass in the White House. Yeah, have you noticed I'm really teed off at Obama now? Obama says, and this is in redstate.com, Obama says it's easier to buy a gun than a book. Now, folks, really? Are we really supposed to believe that's a fact? I don't know. Do you have to go through a 3-day waiting period and a federal background check before you can buy a book? I mean, even the smuttiest book available. You can walk into a bookstore if they carry it. You can walk into an adult bookstore and buy the sluttiest, smuttiest, hardcoreiest book you could find in there. And as long as you're over 18 years of age and you have the cash for it and you pay for it, you can walk out that instant with that book. But be an 18 or 21-year-old and walk into a gun store and say, I want to buy this gun and take it with me now. No can do, son. You got to fill out this paperwork in triplicate, and then we got to call it in, and you got to have a background check. Going to be 3 days before you can get this gun. But I guess that's easier to buy a gun than to buy a book. Hey, I can go on Amazon and buy a book. I can go to barnesandnoble.com, buy a book. Don't even have to say who I am. Don't have to give them anything except, my credit card information. Hell, half the time I could probably get, what people do online is they give them somebody else's credit card information. And I get the book in a few days. In the mail. Try ordering a gun online. And yet we're supposed to believe this jackass is running around saying, well, hey, you know what? There are so many guns. It's easier to go buy a gun than it is to buy a book. We got to change that. We got to make sure that it's harder to buy a gun than to buy a book. Because you shouldn't be able to buy a gun easier than you can buy a book. I think liberals are just angry people. I think liberals are just, we really need to come up with something to relieve their anger. Because not all liberals are mentally deranged. Most of them are, because liberalism is a mental disease, mental disorder. I firmly believe that. But there are some liberals that they're just angry. And if we could satiate their anger, we'd be able to save them. I don't know why liberals are so damn angry, because, they've been getting almost everything they've wanted over the past 8 years. So I don't know why they're still so angry. Have you realized that of late, how angry liberals still are? I mean, they've gotten almost everything that they've ever wanted, and they're more pissed off today than they were 8 years ago. I don't understand this liberal anger. I mean, look, you guys are, you're progressives, right? So you're progressing to your utopia. Oh, maybe they just realize it's not going as fast as they want. I don't know. But look, I don't know why. You should be jumping up and down for joy that you get some of your liberal mantra passed and foisted upon the rest of the people. But you're not happy about it. I don't understand that. How can you not be happy when you get something that you say you want? I'm real curious about that one. I don't know how you, maybe this is why. This is from the GOP, thedailydose.com. Bring a little levity to the conversation today. Maybe liberals aren't so happy because, what over the weekend, I guess Justin Bieber broke the internet. Maybe it was last week. I don't know. Last week sometime, Justin Bieber broke the internet, right? Because everybody was looking for this picture that was leaked online. I love leaked online. And I guess he was, one of his lawyers was threatening was it TMZ? I think his lawyers were threatening TMZ to sue TMZ if they didn't remove the picture. But evidently they caught somebody, some paparazzi caught Justin Bieber on vacation, full frontal nudity. And I guess he has a rather impressive manhood. I didn't see the picture, don't know what it's all about, don't really care. But I guess the internet went gaga over this, so this whole point of them trying to get TMZ to... It's too late. It's on the internet. Everybody's spreading it around, what have you. I'm surprised it's not on Facebook yet. I haven't seen it come across. But... I guess liberals like to look at that kind of stuff. Well, maybe liberals are upset because maybe they're not. I don't know. Maybe they're not well endowed like Justin Bieber supposedly is. I don't because all that whole thing about his underwear thing. when he was doing the underwear commercials. Or spread was it for, who was Calvin Klein, I think? And there was a controversy that they photoshopped his package, if you will. And evidently this full frontal nude photo puts that to rest. But here's maybe liberals are just jealous of Justin Bieber. Or maybe liberals are angry because they just don't have good sex. And this is from GOPthedailydose.com. Republicans have more orgasms according to Match.com sex survey. Yeah. Frankly, generally speaking, if you put a bunch of liberal women up against a bunch of Republican or conservative women, liberal women are dogs. Look, I'm not talking about just being totally exterior here and just being, shallow and superficial, but let's face the facts. I mean, the conservatives, if you want to look at women in power, conservatives have some good-looking women in power. And the liberal women in power, not so good looking. Again, it's a generalization, yes. But I don't know. Evidently, according to the story, all the sex ed programs that liberals love still don't help them. They screw everything up, and they can't even finish the job. And this is a piece by Jessica Bennett. Now, it's on rodeccles.net. Go over there and take a look at the story. Evidently, they did Match.com. I haven't seen the questionnaire, how they did the survey, but Match.com, it's an online dating service, which I don't think is actually very conservative in its bent, but evidently, Match.com did a survey and found out that Republicans, conservatives, have more orgasms during sex than non-Republican conservatives, i.e. liberal Democrats. Maybe that's why they're so angry all the time. Just speculation there. Well, maybe I should, because I was going to say I don't really care, but maybe I should care. Maybe I should care that liberals and Democrats just aren't getting it. And they're not getting it. If, double entendre there. They're just not getting it. They're not getting it enough. Now, they may not be getting it at all. But in any case, they're not getting it enough. Developing. Now, this is why I wanted to bring a little bit of levity before I brought, because this is getting serious now. The SHIIT just got serious. The Royal Air Force, England, for those of you in Rush Limbaugh's Linda, Great Britain. The RAF, Royal Air Force, has given the green light to shoot down hostile Russian jets in Syria. Now, folks, you have to understand, it's an act of war. And you have to understand why the RAF is issuing these orders, because the Russians are bombing our allies. Now, whether or not you agree with Obama and our allies on the ground in Syria with the rebels is irrelevant. They're our allies now. So as relations between the West and Russia steadily deteriorate, Royal Air Force pilots have been given the go-ahead to shoot down Russian military jets when flying missions over Syria and Iraq. if they are endangered by them. Now, the development comes with warnings that the UK and Russia are now one step closer to being at war. Now, make no mistake about it. Even with this weakling president, if war breaks out between England and Russia, there is no possible way for NATO to stay out of it, i.e. the USA and our NATO allies. We are at the wrong point in history with the wrong person in office to be leading us right now. This is some serious. I know that. Hell with it. This is some serious shit. The point is now you have to understand this. The British government has just given permission to their military pilots that they have the green light to shoot down Russian military aircraft. Now, folks, you have to understand that in and of itself is a precursor to war. It's not that they're going to be shooting down Syrian aircraft. That it's amazing that we have a British Prime Minister who's acting more like an American president than our president, standing up against Putin. And the very notion, the very fact that they're being told, if they attack you, shoot them down. If they threaten you, shoot them down. And if you know that if Putin doesn't back down and he keeps doing this, it's going to happen. And then the gloves are going to come off. And then you're going to start to see Iran and China make their move in the Middle East, which then again means that that NATO and the United States, even in our weakened state, has to go to war to defend our allies. You understand how bad this is. And this is all because of President Obama's lack of a goal and his stupidity in the Middle East. He has left a vacuum that is just sucking the entire world into it. This is all on the shoulders, all on the head of Barack Hussein Obama. Do not blame George W. Bush. George W. Bush did not leave Iraq to Al-Qaeda and ISIS. That was Obama. George W. Bush did not create and leave a power vacuum in Afghanistan and Iraq. That was Barack Hussein Obama. And now all hell is breaking loose, and it is at such a point where one of our allies has come out and said, if you are threatened or attacked by Russian pilots, shoot them down, knowing very well that leads to war, which then drags in Iran and China, which then forces NATO into the whole region, which is World War III. And it's all the fault of Barack Hussein Obama. Now, I'm telling you, folks, this is what's going down right now. And we had better get with it. Or we're not going to be with it at all, pretty much. All right, means that we're out of time for tonight. We'll be back here tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. Until then, I'm Rod Eccles. It's been the Rod Eccles Show. I'm out.
the leader in talk radio on the internet, right here on K98Talk.com.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-513-6154. That's 1-800-513-6154. Again, 1-800-513-6154. Call now.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.